Assalamu alaikum, my name is Salim Siddiqui and you're watching a hot conflict video series on the subject of the great Muslim celebration, or the great Eid, the Eid al-Akbar or Adha, the Eid of the Sacrifice. And myself and Muslims all around the world gathered today with our families and went to a place to go pray together and bow our heads and worship to the Lord Most High. And Muslims with their families and all of their people did that all over the world, all bowing and praying, facing towards the Kaaba, the holy house in Mecca, in the Arabian Peninsula, that is built by Abraham and his son Ishmael in the olden days to remember the worship of the Lord Most High, the one true God. And so we're talking about the importance of this issue, and we're explaining it like we say on the hotconflict.com website, that we always tell you things in a way that you haven't heard of it before, and in a style that is probably different to you. And it's at this point that I've got to actually make a caveat once again that I'm going to start talking about some really strange material, and obviously it is at this point in history where things are about to dramatically get different. And so a lot of differences of opinions and concepts and conflict start to happen, and groups start to argue, and of course religion is the thing that people argue about the most, and who's right and who's wrong, and we're the chosen people and you're the chosen people. And so I want to stick to some simple basics, and that is, you're hearing for the first time probably something that you've never heard before. I'm telling you this story in a way that you have never heard before, and so I want to continue to make sure that everybody understands that we want to continue to use the same terminology and concepts that we've done from the beginning of the story, so that the confusion and the politics and the bickering is left out of it. So what is the fundamental? Well, the fundamental, as we said, is that there's only one God. In Arabic, we say, La ilaha illallah. Well, we said there are more fundamentals, and that when a person who is a Muslim says the term Muslim, I'm a Muslim, they mean they are people who understood the truth that has been revealed from the Lord Most High to all the prophets, and that Islam is the faith of those who submit to the truth of the light that all of the prophets have revealed. Because we said that there is some basic fundamentals, that there is a God, Most High, hallowed and gloried be He, greater than anything that we can imagine. He is the one who created the universe and everything that is in it. He is the creator. He is the one who makes life and takes life, and gives life and takes life. And we've told the story and said that there are always these fundamentals, and that each of the bearers of the truth revealed the same thing to their people, that there is only one God. And so the fundamentals continue, that God, the Most High, created a creation called angels, made of the light, some with wings of different numbers, and they are good in their nature, in that they obey the commandments of the Lord and do not disobey. They do not have free will. And God created other races known as the jinn in Arabic, which we term as the unseen or interdimensional beings that are not visible to us in this dimension that we are in, but they are on the earth around us and in the skies and galaxies of the universe. God only knows where exactly. And so we told you the story gets strange and weird. But we said that Satan, in the beginning of the story, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, please go back and listen to the story from the beginning, because you're hearing a story, and it's important that you understand what this means. That mankind, from the very first day that Adam was created, he tried to tell his people and the descendants of Adam that there is a war going on between the darkness and the light. The true description of the Lord, as we said, the only way we can truly describe him is the light, and that Adam was breathed of the light and brought to life with a soul, and that as the fundamentals go, there are angels and jinns and prophets with books of the revelation of the Word, and that you, as all sons of Adam, live and die, as is the will of the Lord Most High, and you will be raised by the Lord and judged by the Lord on your faith and your actions or your deeds. And there is punishment and reward that is everlasting for your soul to go on for all eternity. And all of this in the final fundamental is by the plan and decree and order or qadr of the Lord Most High. Everything that is happening within the universe is by the plan of the Lord Most High. He is the creator of all that is created. And so we went through the chain of the stories and we got to the point where we saw in the world certain fundamentals. I'm going to start just telling it to you, and I'm going to start giving it to you, and it's going to sound strange and crazy. If you've been listening to the story of the truth and you're ready to hear the light, you are about to hear more magical and mystical things that will explain all of the answers. If any of this story has seemed so unbelievable to you, so ridiculously incredible that it is so unbelievable, then the next part must get even more incredible than where we have been before. As the truth is always more stranger than any fiction anyone has ever told you. And by God, I believe, and we shall soon see, that I don't think anyone has ever spoken these words in the way that I'm speaking them, in this language that we call English. And I'm going to say, as I always say, and make some caveats, that I will talk about strange and weird things. Things that people will think are so ludicrous that I will be looked at by many as a heretic or a radical, even amongst those who use the term Muslim. But as I said, don't get confused in the politics of our day. Just listen to the story. And so because I'm going to have to tell the truth, and all those who tell the truth, when they have to tell it, they have to admit some very hard realities. So I have to always say it, and I'm saying it again. You're watching HotConflict.com, and my name is Salim Siddiqui. I am the son of a man named Shamshad Ali Siddiqui. And so excuse me for getting emotional, because once you understand the story, you know what this means. And I am going to tell you even parts of the story of myself, but not right now. And I'm going to give you another surprise, that if the story I'm telling is true, and if the light and the truth are the same thing, then by the time you get to the end of the story, you must know the reality of the world that you are living in, and you must be able to understand the mysteries of all the mysteries, and you must be able to answer the questions of all the questions. You must be able to understand your own soul. And by God, you're going to hear the story of the truth. Now that I've given the caveat, I've got to get serious, because here we go, and it's about to get wild. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, call yourself a Muslim, a Jew, or a Christian, or any other name. Listen to the story and pay attention, because at the end of the day, anybody who knows the story of the truth of the light knows that whatever title you want to call yourself, it really doesn't matter. The light is the light, and that's all that counts. So listen to the story, because here we are. If we remember where we were in the last part of the story, we said that the earth has gotten to a strange and dark place where the children of Israel, who are holding the light and bearing the truth, are all disorganized and disunited. Jesus, son of Mary, has come bearing the truth of the light, and some have accepted and some have rejected. Nowhere on the earth are people worshiping the Lord correctly. except for some few. And even those who call themselves Christians have begun to forget the fundamentals of the faith, and even in the clearness of the understanding that there is what? One fundamental that always must be. La ilaha illallah. There is only one God. But I said in the beauty and the majesty and the story of Jesus, son of Mary. And if you didn't hear me speak about the prophet who bore the light, Jesus, the way any person who calls himself Muslim and truly understanding the word speaks is that all prophets who bore the light are due the blessings and peace of the Lord Most High in their noble status. That Jesus, son of Mary, did something by the miracle of God that no one has done before. He came with a sign of raising the dead by the life of Allah that he had given him as a miracle. And Jesus did something else. After praying in Gethsemane with his head to the ground to the Lord Most High, the creator of all of the universe, and Jesus himself, as Jesus was told by the Lord, you are going to ascend. Jesus ascended. As the Quran tells you, he wasn't killed, nor was he crucified, but it was made to appear so. As we said, the fundamentals of faith are always the same. That all of the sons of Adam live and all of them die. And how could Jesus have died? I'm telling you the sign, so pay attention to the story, because if the story that I'm telling you is true, then every part of my tale must always fit exactly. I am not making up the tale of a madman. I am telling you the story of the truth of the light that has been known from Adam, the very first man that God created, to those who call themselves bearers of the light. But it is the first time you are hearing it in my mother tongue. I give glad tidings to you, my mother. The truth of the light is being spoken to you in the language of your own people in a method that you will understand. So take heed that if all of the fundamentals must remain the same, that Jesus, son of Mary, who was a son of Adam, lives and must die, then I have spoken to you the words of the truth, and the truth is there, that he did not die on the cross, but was ascended. For we know, as you know, those who call yourselves following the light of Jesus, son of Mary, that he shall return and shall continue to live as any son of Adam lives and dies at the end of days. Ooh, but the tale is getting interesting and you're getting excited, but I told you, we are not talking about the end of days today. We are talking about the story of the truth of the light, and we're telling it to you in a way that you've never heard before, and there is a reason why you're hearing it like this, and it shall be made known to you by the will of Allah, the Lord Most High. If I am able to continue to live and speak, you will know the tale and the answers. I'm not a whistleblower, or a conspiracy nut, or a fortune teller. Listen to the truth, and you will see its clarity for yourself. Anybody who wants the truth of the light, let it be known from this day forward. I am making a challenge, and it shall be marked by the will of God. So let's change the subject matter and go back to the actual situation. If Jesus, son of Mary, has ascended, in this chain of stories that we are telling, the story has gotten so strange, and you've heard me prop up the next part, then the next thing that happens must be amazing. No one is left to understand the truth of the signs. Some of the children of Israel are still searching, is there something going to happen? And I'm just going to spill it and continue with our story. It is at this point that you must be able to understand the signs of how the true story of humankind, all of the children of Adam, is told. And in the promise that your Lord made to Adam when he told him the fundamentals, that there will be prophets with books of the word. Well, we got to the last prophet that ascended. And so something must happen that is dramatic. And I'm going to spill it so that you know it, and it shall be made clear to you. It is at this point in the world, in the story of the truth, that we get to the most dramatic phase in the story. that a prophet or a messenger with the truth of the light is sent, and it is known and well documented and obvious with a specific mission. You will be the last messenger of the Lord. We knew that tales have to come to an end, ladies and gentlemen, but in our story that has been so strange to get to this point where we actually hear that the fundamentals have been playing and we get to a point where there is actually a final messenger. Now, it is not my job to tell you to accept Islam, as any revealer of the truth of the light never needs to ask someone to join. They just need to tell the story of the truth of the light, and all those who hear the word will know. And why will you know that it is the truth? Oh, when I remind you, and truly a reminder helps the believers. When I remind you at the end of this story, you will be so surprised. You will be so pleasantly and miraculously and joyously surprised. But now is a time of great darkness. As we said, on this land there is no one worshiping the Lord Most High. In the ancient house of the chains that we said, all of the children of Israel are misguided, and those who are following Christ are misguided, and they, the descendants of this line, have some refused to accept Jesus Christ, and he has ascended. And so the children of Israel, Jesus, son of Mary, and the followers of Solomon, and the followers of David, and Moses, and Joseph, and Jacob, and Isaac, all the way to the great prophet Abraham, who said that from this moment on the earth, I challenge that my Lord, the only true Lord, the Lord of the light, is the one who gives life and takes life. And from my children, please be followers of the light. And so we have a dramatic change, that once and for all, a final messenger is to come. But we said the house that Abraham built was covered in darkness, pagans and idols and disgusting practices, and darkness and sorcery and witchcraft and voodoo and bones and blood and human sacrifice, the killing of newborns, and the most heathen of heathens, and treacherous acts and disgusting abominations of the body and the soul. So dark was the situation, yet still there were a few who remembered that Allah, the Lord, the Most High, was to be remembered. And even though they had numerous gods, the name of Allah, the Lord Most High, was still respected. And they would say in their ignorant pagan ways, as all pagan ignorance do, oh, there are so many gods, but yes, there is the big God. Such ignorance is stupid if you've listened to the story of the truth of the light. Adam, our greatest father, warned us, the darkness will always deceive you and lie to you about God. We have remained with one fundamental from the beginning. La ilaha illallah, there is only one God. So we got to the story where even though this house has all this nastiness, the people there are of great status. They are controlling the economics of the time, and all the caravans pass through them because of the place of this noble house and the annual pilgrimage that people still make to worship all the statues. And because of that, they are the leaders in communication and the spoken word, and leaders in business and trade, and people from all the land go to them, and they are leaders in storytelling, and leaders in poetry, and having the best ability of all that mankind has seen to be able to express themselves in the most beautiful ways, as I'm trying to demonstrate to you in this language we call English. and tell you a tale of the ancients for the first time in the English language. And so Abraha, an evil ruler from another land who wanted to build a great temple, was upset that no one was visiting his temple. And so he brought elephants to charge the Kaaba in Mecca. And the leader of Mecca, from the noble lineage of Ismail, who were still in charge of the different tribes, Abdul Muttalib, his name was, he was a person who still understood the importance of this holy house, that it was built by Abraham, the believer in the one true Lord, and his son Ishmael, and as bearers of that truth, they were granted the noble status of protecting the noble house. And so as Abraha and his army of huge beasts and elephants come to charge and bulldoze the holy house, Abdul Muttalib does something strange. He removes all the people and orders them all to leave the house of God alone. Such a strange thing that people do not understand. And he says something that is so spectacular in the tale that you must understand the importance of this moment. He says, there is only one Lord. He is the Lord of this house. If anybody is going to protect it, the Lord Most High will protect it. And so it is documented in history for all those who wish to verify the truth of the tale. As I've told you and challenged anyone who listens to my words, any part of the truth of the tale is not from my own imagination. Go check and verify any of the words. The truth must always be there, of the light. It's so funny that I'm telling you this story, and you shall know why. I'm laughing not in arrogance but in humility, that how come as any sons of Adam I say I'm just a son of Adam, and I make mistakes and I sin. No one can understand the story better than that. So I'm not claiming to be great, but the story of the truth is so grand and magnanimous that if you understand it, it's incredible. The elephants come to charge the holy house, and by the will of the Lord sends birds with pebbles and stones, and they kill the elephants. Believe it or not, this is a sign of a change to come. Now another strange sign that must be there, because we told you the signs, if you're listening to the story, must always be the same. That I said that this city called Mecca, mother of cities al-Qura, was established how? When the prophet Abraham was challenged to send his son into the middle of nowhere, Ishmael, his firstborn, who he wanted to bear the truth of the light. And Hagar was left in the mountains of Safa and Marwa, running back and forth as they did not have water. And Ishmael kicked the ground and water sprung forth, the well of Zamzam. Now during this time of darkness in the world in Mecca, where Mecca had been surrounded by pagan rituals, the well of Zamzam had long been lost and dried up, as those who are willing to believe the truth of the Lord of the light do not get the blessing of the water. But it is at this time when the Lord himself protects the holy house, and the great leader Abdul Muttalib recognizes the truth of that fact, that he is given a great sign, a dream, and shown where to find the well, and the water is sprung forth. Oh, it's a strange story, I told you. But the story is there, and I'm going to try to rush through it because so much detail is there for you to search if you wish to find the truth. But you want to hear the story, so I'm going to give it to you as quickly as possible. The prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, is born of a noble family, of a noble lineage. Peace and blessings be upon him, the final messenger. And all of the reasons will be made clear to you. But I told you in the story, as I'm telling the story, when a prophet comes, it's not like their situation is ever good. I mean, let's remember how this story goes. The prophet of the light is being taught to come, and he is in a situation where the whole city is believing in all kinds of pagan rituals. And he grows up to be a man of noble status and well known, to be known to be a person of good character, and to be known a person of sidq, or the truth, a person who has a good character and being of light. You know, when you see good people, you know they have that inner light, right? They just have good natures. This is the way. You can just tell when you speak to them. Children of Adam, they are just good people, and all of children of Adam, regardless of any color, there are those who are like that. And the prophet was known as the truthful one and the honest one to all of the people in the land. But he didn't understand how he could be in such a messed up situation. How could it be that he was sitting there and something was wrong, because he knew that this didn't feel right? I mean, you're sitting there thinking, why is it that my people believe in so many multiple pagan gods? Something had to happen. And so he began to get dreams, and he began to try and be alone and sit alone and ponder the truth of what reality is. And as he sat alone in the cave, pondering and pondering day after day, trying to think, what is the truth of the story? What is really going on in the world? How is it that we are at this situation? Something amazing happened. Something miraculous happened. When he was searching for the truth and wanting to know the light, it was at that moment that God, the Lord Most High, sent to him the message of great tidings. There in the cave came to him the Archangel Gabriel, the angel of the Lord, bringing to him the word of God. He said to him the very word of God. So listen to it, ladies and gentlemen, and see if it makes sense in the story. Gabriel said to the seal and final messenger, read. Read. Read in the name of your Lord, the one who has created you. Read in the name of your Lord. The prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. I told you, if a messenger is going to come, the signs have to be miraculous. We said he was raised in a place where communication and language was the greatest on the earth. And so the angel told him, read of the word. But he, the prophet, said, I don't know how to even read. I have never learned to read the words. I don't have the knowledge of reading. The angel Gabriel told him again, read in the name of your Lord who created you. Out of a single drop of creation, you have been formed by your Lord. Read in the name of your Lord, O man, the one who has been taught man the knowledge of reading and writing, and taught man all of the things that he didn't know. Read the message of the truth, the very first revelation of the Quran. I do have to take a break.